This is the Extra Point Podcast from Arizona's family.
All right, well, this is fun. We remember where we were. I remember where I was 22 years ago tonight watching our next guest win the Home Run Derby in Seattle, and he joins us now on the Extra Point Podcast, the one, the only Lus Gonzalez. Are you watching? Do you have a bat in your hands watching the Home Run Derby tonight?
No, every now and then I'll tease my friends and I'll grab the trophy and put it on the couch and I'll put my arm around it and have somebody take a picture from behind as I'm watching the Home Run Derby and say, hey, are they trying to win this thing? Just to kind of tease my buddies. But no, it's all good, man. It's been so exciting to see this year's Home Run Derby and to see a bunch of our guys from the Arizona Diamondbacks being able to participate this year in the All-Star game.
What sort of advice did you give Corbin Carroll? Did you give Zach Gallen and the rest of the guys that went up there about just the experience?
I didn't really give them any advice, just congratulating them. It's a special time. You don't know how many of those you're ever going to have. So I think everyone, if you play in 2, 3, 1, 5, 10, it doesn't matter. They're all special in their own unique way because they're all in different cities. You get to a bunch of different players every year that get to go, whoever's having a great year. So they're all special. I think this one is extremely special for 2 of our 4 guys at least. Well, really all of them, but 2 of the 4. One, Corbin Carroll, who's going to get to play in his home that he grew up going to Seattle Mariner games, and one for Zach Gallen, who's actually going to be the starter in the game, just as Randy and I started in the 2001 game, the last time it was held in Seattle. I started in center field, and Randy started as a pitcher.
So what were the nerves like for you as you took the field? First of all, in the Home Run Derby, and also running out there to start the All-Star game.
The Home Run Derby, actually the format's a lot different now than it was back then. It was, back then it was the 10 outs, and now they do it more in timing, like 3 minutes, and then you get an extra 30 minutes if you hit so many over 400 feet or whatever it is. So I was pretty nervous. I think the big thing for me was I wanted to just hit at least one so you could show your face back in the locker room when you go back for to be around your teammates and your fans, and to finally find my way making it past the first round, moving into the second round, and then getting to the finals was pretty special.
I mean, you had Bonds there, you had Giambi there. Who else? Sammy Sosa was there. What was it like to take down that sort of lineup?
Yeah, it was a pretty big field. I think the odds makers didn't have me really going that far, even though I was, pretty high in the home runs at the All-Star break. But, I had the guy who was throwing batting practice to me, Jeff Matuzis, who pitched to me every day, when I was with the Diamondbacks. And that was my comfort factor to have him there with me. And, I was enjoying all the festivities on the field, sitting in the dugout, and then they came over and said, hey, we're going to be starting in like 5-10 minutes. And I go, great. When can I take some swings? And they go, they've been hitting downstairs in the batting cage. And I went, uh-oh. So we just kind of went cold turkey and went out there, show and go, and it ended up working out for us pretty well.
So you had no practice? Was there no schedule they put out?
No, we just guys were hitting in the cage. I didn't know that. I was watching Smash Mouth out there playing, out in the center field before the game, before the Home Run Derby. I was just enjoying all the festivities. I hadn't done it before, so to find myself in that situation, then all of a sudden getting thrust out there for the first round probably helped me out because I wasn't tired from taking swings down the cage, probably like most of the other guys were.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you won somebody a house, right?
Yeah, that was pretty special to have. Actually, the guy that won it was handicapped. He was in a wheelchair. So to be able to do something special and rewarding like that, for me, was just as special as winning the Home Run Derby myself. But being able to give something back to something that I had accomplished, being able to reward somebody else with a home.
Have you ever been to the house? Have they ever had you over for dinner or anything like that?
No, and in fact, it was kind of funny because the guy who won the house, I don't even think he knew who I was when it happened. He just kind of got my name in the draw, I think, and was kind of hoping for the best, and it worked out pretty good.
Well, what was the key that night for you to just getting going? What was, as you went along in your career, and I watched you in the Astrodome as a kid, and that was a hard place to hit a home run. And then as you got older How did your swing change so you could hit more balls out of the ballpark?
I opened up my stance when I was in Detroit right before I came to Arizona. I was more of a doubles hitter, hit a lot of doubles in my career, but um, I started messing around with my stance in Detroit because of the short porch and right field, the overhang out there, and it ended up working out for me really well. Spring training, I struggled a little bit, hit a lot of ground balls in 1999 when I got traded over to the Diamondbacks. But as soon as the bell rang to start the season, I got out of the gates really well with a 30-game hitting streak. I led the league that year in hits, and just the confidence builder that it was being around so many great players, veteran guys that we surrounded ourselves with at the Diamondbacks. It was fun to go out there every day. Special bunch of guys, a group of players that knew how to play the game the right way. It was just a matter of time before we all got it together and were able to win a championship a few years later in 2001.
When you look back at that 2001 season, how much do you kind of see everything and how it came together?
It was just a great group of guys. I think every night it seemed like there was somebody different that was coming up big for us. Of course, every time a team wins a World Series or something, you got to have a couple guys that are having special years. And for me, that year really was nice right out of the gates for me, hitting the 13 home runs in April, and I just kept building on it. Tony Womack was having a good year. Reggie Sanders, Steve Finley, uh, Mark Grace. You talk about Matt Williams, Jay Bell, all these guys. I mean, they were all doing extremely well. And Craig Counsell was kind of the glue, the super utility guy that we had. We had great bench players, great starting pitching with Schilling and Randy leading the way. So it was just fun every night when you went out there, and you just felt like you had a chance to win every single night. Just as the team this year, they have a great mix of young guys and veteran players. They're having fun, and they put themselves in a great situation right now, being tied for the lead now going into the All-Star break.
All right, and I think there's a picture of Schilling video. He has a video camera watching you hit the ball out of the ballpark in Seattle. My, how technology is changing. That what's funny is what Corbin Carroll was one when that happened. Is old. This makes me feel old. I remember doing the story of you winning the home run derby in my sportscast that night.
Yeah, it's crazy how time flies, and now to have the first All-Star game since 2001 in Seattle, it's only fitting that we have a couple guys that are going to be starting once again, an outfielder and a pitcher, just as it was. I hope the stars are aligned, and maybe it's for good things to come with the Arizona Diamondbacks because it was a great year for us after the All-Star break. It really got us going to take us into the World Series.
And the star pitcher killed a bird. Is there some I don't know if I want to call it good luck, but I mean that aligns it too, right?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, and the guy who's getting the start in the outfield was he's the front runner right now for Rookie of the Year, and MVP chants have been out there for him too. So there's a lot of similarities, although he's a little bit younger than Corbin's a lot younger than I was at the time. But man, kudos to him. He's handled everything like a true champ. He's been professional. I'm excited for Perdomo. I'm excited for Gurriel to be there also, and these guys, and excited for our city and for our organization to be able to have four guys. There was a couple other guys on our team that were probably just as deserving to go. Maybe Marte, Christian Walker. They've all had great years too. And who knows what would happen with Merrill Kelly? He got hurt, but there's a lot of guys that are doing special things for our team this year with Arizona Diamondbacks. We're hoping the second half is going to be tough getting out of to start the second half, a tough road trip right out of the gates. But these guys have played well. You never know what can happen.
No, it has certainly been fun. I mean, it's I think in Arizona sports you have those surprise teams, and that's what makes it so fun. And when they just kind of come out of nowhere and you're seeing the ballpark fill up. I took my boys out there this weekend, and we had so much fun, and we got to see the Carroll walk-off. So that was great. Thanks for dialing that up for us. Hey, real quick before you get out of here, do you have a favorite in tonight's home run derby? Who you watching?
Well, it's hard to pick against Pete Alonso. I mean, he's won two now, and he could win three out of the last four. And I don't know, he might be the guy. I think Luis Roberts too is another guy who he could get on a roll. He's leading the league right now in home runs. So this guy, he's been hot, swinging a hot bat the last month, and never know what can happen.
All right, and as you were coming down the stretch here, what was it like when you won? Can you describe that moment of winning the home run derby?
Just like everybody else is, and to find myself in that spot, I was just hoping to compete and just put on a good show, and then to find myself just kind of chucking along and to find yourself in the finals. Then I really got excited and said, I got a chance to win this thing. And to beat one of my old teammates, Sammy Sosa, who I played with the Cubs. And I'm sure everybody was playing house money to try to have him win the thing. And for me to shock, the baseball world and win that thing, it was pretty special.
Do you have the trophy there at home? Like, you said you started off by telling us sometimes you celebrate. Do you have it right
Yeah,
there?
I do. I'm actually not at home right now. I'm at my daughter's home in Chandler, but yeah, I have it at home.
Well, hey, thanks for taking time to join us here while you're watching the Home Run Derby with your family. We appreciate all the time over the years, all the interviews, and just wanted to celebrate the anniversary. So happy anniversary of winning the Home Run Derby.
Thanks, Mark. All my best to you and the kids and your wife.
The Extra Point Podcast is a production of 3TV, CBS5, and azfamily.com in Phoenix, Arizona.